Over the heath, there was an old, crumbling water house where the entire estate's water system was managed. Honestly, we always thought it was a miracle that something so ancient and manky could still pump out any water at all. But somehow, it did. The building was made of brick with black slate roof and heavy iron doors, though by the time this happened, it was only a shadow of its former self. The doors were gone completely, and the windows had long since been smashed in by generations of kids throwing stones. It was the same place my mama and her siblings had played around when they were children, and they all told us the same thing. It spooked them just as much as it spooked us. It was a scorching hot day one summer during the school holidays. The older boys were home for some reason, and all us younger cousins, including me, were being absolute little brats. So the boys decided they'd take us blackberry picking to keep us quiet. Mama agreed gratefully. The boys were 16, 17, and 18, responsible, mature, and used to babysitting us. We all knew the rules: stay close, listen to them, do as we were told. Half an hour later, armed with fruit buckets, we set off. There were 5 of us younger cousins. We were buzzing with excitement. Blackberry picking was a family favorite, and Gran's blackberry pies were legendary. Gran's house backed straight onto the heath. There was a fence with a small gap at the end. One cousin passed me through, another lifted my tiny wheelchair over, and the rest of the kids were through in seconds. And off we went. On the walk, the older boys told spooky stories like they always did, half because they liked scaring us, and half because we begged them to. There was nothing more terrifying than a story told by my cousins H or B. They were masters, and they sounded so believable. But all talking stopped when we reached the water house. Nobody ever spoke near it, not even the older boys. For something so ordinary, it looked, and still looks, deeply wrong. There was another fence before the blackberry field. As we squeezed through the gap, we all grew quiet, remembering the old wives' tale, the urban legend we all knew. The story went like this. In the early 1960s, a gang of local bank robbers terrorized the area. They were vicious, shooting anything that moved. During one robbery, a sweet 19-year-old trainee bank clerk was killed. 5 more people were badly injured. One gang member died, and the most violent of them was seriously wounded. The remaining men fled across the heath and hid in the water house, which was fairly new at the time, a perfect hideout. 6 months later, the bodies of the remaining 3 gang members were found inside, rotting. No one ever proved what happened in there. After that, strange things began to occur. Hairy figures glimpsed between pipes and wires, a damp, moldy smell like rotting river weeds, eerie wails, menacing murmurs, day and night. Then in the late 70s, homeless people sheltering near the heath began dying mysteriously. Nothing was ever officially linked to the water house, but locals avoided it completely, and it fell into ruin. That's why we were desperate to get away from it. Once we were through the fence and further from the water house, the younger cousins dared one last glance back. Then the boys rounded us up, put me back in my wheelchair, and we headed for the blackberry field. The afternoon passed peacefully, picking berries, eating them straight off the bush, splashing in the river. Eventually, the sun dipped low and it was time to head home. The walk back was quieter. We were tired, and something in the air felt off. When we reached the fence near the water house, the air felt heavy, like before a thunderstorm. The youngest of the older boys lifted me out of my wheelchair so B could get it over the fence. That's when A spoke. In a low, guarded voice, he said, "Something moved back there, bruv." B looked at him sideways. A was usually the one to mess about. But A wasn't smiling. He said, "I'm going to have a look." Before anyone could stop him, he slipped past us. Then he screamed, a scream full of horror and disgust. H yelled, "Run!" We ran. B folded my wheelchair while running. A grabbed the other kid's hands. H carried me on his shoulders. A kept shouting, "Don't look back! Don't look back!" I did. I saw nothing. We didn't stop until we reached the fence near the road, where we could see civilization again. We were exhausted. Before slipping through, B asked, "What did you see, A?" A was shaking. Yellow eyes, hairy face. We younger kids panicked. H had to calm us down, telling us we were safe. When we got home, Mama and my auntie noticed straight away. H told them we'd been scared by an old drunk looking for golf balls. That was common enough. They believed him. We never told them the truth. We never found out what those yellow eyes belonged to, and none of us went near the water house again for a very long time.